So, as you can see, it was mostly a pattern of just going in that shape, and I didn't really like the transitions back and forth between major and minor, but so I only did two from it was the E flat to the G minor, and then from the E minor back to the C. But I really felt that like once you started doing all the majors, you kind of just keep expecting it to go to majors, and then it goes to minor, and it kind of just changes up the whole process. And I just thought that was a cool sound.
It was beautiful, very beautiful. So, you know, did color come to mind at all for you, or any kind of other senses when you were doing it?
Well, we kind of came up with like a list of basically just words that kind of applied to what I was thinking. We came up with things like atmospheric or sleepy and kind of just sparse. And that was why I didn't do a lot of like the scales and stuff. I tried to do mostly like triads and things like that. So maybe not colors as much as just like feelings or fonts.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, I can't stress that enough. This is a touchy-feely thing, right? And again, there's no mistakes here. And they can change it in an instant. You know, it may be just a mood that they're in, and the next half hour, that's gone. I'm going to change it, right, Oliver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I changed this a lot. And first I started with something really large, and then we had to cut it down to this because I was trying to get a little too ambitious with all the chord changes and stuff.
So I'd like to know, like this woman asked you, is anything going to be next for you, or do you like just what happened here?
I kind of do. I mean, you can, in the same way that you chose chords and keys, you could start choosing little motifs that you do every time you perform it. And we tried to figure out things like that, but didn't really work with atmosphere and stuff. So.
Yeah. Any questions for Oliver?
I noticed that your improv was not staying within the scale and that led to some really cool jazzy dissonances. So we were talking before about staying within the key, but when you went out of the key, that was really cool too. Yeah. Just a different feel.
Yeah.
I like dissonances.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of jazz.
We can tell.
Right.
Would you like to make a secret pact with your partner that she would up the rhythm sometimes and go 2 chords really quickly and then stay longer on another chord?
He was choosing. That wasn't me, that was Oliver.
But I mean, in the future, to do
Oh.
rhythmic action.
Maybe. I kind of like like I said, a little sparse and not a whole lot of rhythmic one.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, I mean, that hasn't been mentioned yet. But absolutely, you can play around with the rhythm. And you can make ostinatos out of these patterns. You know, maybe take 3 or 4 and do them over and over and over and over. Anything's possible. One way back there.
When you said you were choosing the rhythm, did you write it down for her, or was it just going according to your improvisation?
I think it did. I was saying that we might be doing we might be choosing rhythmic things or writing them down in the future as the next step. We didn't do a whole lot of that right now.
So he was up here saying change. When he was ready, he would say to her, change.
Change to the next key.
Yeah. There's one more.
So what was your process before you came here today in terms of preparing?
Preparing for playing.
Did you get together with your teacher?
Yeah, every lesson we would do a little bit about this, and we would choose like little motifs or things that we would play here, and every lesson we would add a little bit more to what we were doing.
So how many times would you say or how long have you worked on it? Several weeks or?
I think it was, yeah, so like 3 weeks about.
Well, I tried, I've done some like jazz improv teaching, and I never know I don't want to just tell the kid to play in a scale, or I don't like to say that, so maybe I'm more asking your teachers, but I don't know, like, do I just say to the kid, play what you hear in your head, or listen to the recordings and play that, or just, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the best approach is,
Well, like I said, I didn't really like just playing the scale of
Right,
that,
no,
and
you totally did,
And
yeah.
I tried to occasionally go out of the key a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what to say, but
Okay.
I have a comment about that too. Yeah, I know your dilemma, and I once heard a really wonderful teacher say this: have your student copy a style that they love, copy as well as they can, and then go back and see how their style is different from what they copied, and the difference will be that student's voice. But you can learn so much by copying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might try that. Oh, yeah.
I think everybody finds improvisation really hard to teach, and I'm no exception. But I love to work with my students because the younger they are, the less inhibitions they have. And they love to just make noise of any sort. And who doesn't just want to play glissandos all day? Or, so I just start making up songs with my kids from the very first lesson. And I'll throw some parameters out there to get started, like let's just use only black notes or let's just use white notes. And so I'm providing some structure for them. And so from the very beginning, they're used to just making stuff up. And basically, I found that the question that's most important to ask students of any level is, what are you going for? What would you like it to sound like? So I have students actually develop scrapbooks when they're composing a structured piece, and it starts out really emotional. We just make lists of what kind of things do you like? What mood are you in? What would you like it to sound like? And so they have no idea maybe about some of the theory that they're going to be getting into, or the structures. It all seems really complicated to start with, but they might know what mood they want. And so they can experiment, play 17 things, and then by the 18th time they go, now that was more like it. Yeah. Or I help them and say, was it this? Was it that? Do you like this sound? And they have no idea how to get there, and the theory might seem intimidating, but when they hear it or they stumble upon it, they go, yeah, that was the thing. And then we talk about how to create that, from that germ, something that becomes more like what you'd call a real composition.
Okay. Actually, let's see, how are we doing on time? Oops. I want Jennifer to just, if there are no, well, you could grab him and Michelle and Annabelle during the break too. And that was awesome, Oliver. Thank you so much again.